In the previous lecture videos, we have discussed about the basics of web and mobile application development, what is native app, hybrid app, cross-platform app, what is progressive web app, and now we are going to see about the last topic, that is your responsive web design. Responsive web design makes your web page look good on all the devices. That is irrespective of the size of the device what you are using the application. It must be a good, it must provide a good look. A responsive web design uses only HTML and CSS. So HTML and CSS are used for the structuring of this web design. So responsive web design is not a program or a JavaScript. So designing for the best experience for all the users can be viewed by using many different devices, that is your desktops, tablets and phones. Your web page should look good and be easy to use regardless of the device. The web pages should not leave out information to fit smaller devices, but rather adapt its content to fit any devices. That is, it is called a responsive web design when you use CSS and HTML to resize, hide, shrink, enlarge or move the content to make it look good on any screen. The same content which is being displayed on your laptop must be enabled to view on your tablet as well as your mobile. It has of varying sizes. All these resizing can be done, and it enables a good look. So, viewport. The responsive web page, the viewport. The viewport is a user's visible area of the web page. The viewport varies with the devices, will be smaller on the mobile phone and it will be larger on the desktop than on the computer screen. Before tablets and mobile phones, initially all those web pages or websites were developed only for the computer screens, which has a static design and a fixed size. After with the invent of internet, using the tablets and mobile phones, these fixed sizes are too large to fit into the mobile phones and the tablets, so that the browsers on those devices scale down to entire web pages to fit those screens. So HTML5 introduced a method to let web designers to take control over the viewport through the meta tag. You should include the following meta viewport element in all your web pages. Let's see how it has been the syntax. Meta name is equal to viewport, content is equal to width equal to device width, initial scale is equal to 1.0. This gives the browser instruction on how to control the page's dimension and scaling. These pages dimension and scaling will be based upon the device's dimension and scaling. Here width is equal to width, device width. This part sets the width of the page to follow the screen width of the devices, that is varies depending upon the device. If it is for a mobile, accordingly it will be resized. If it is for a laptop, again it will be resized. So those resized will be given by mentioning width is equal to device width. Next is initial scale is equal to 1.0. This part sets the initial zoom level when the page is first loaded by the browser. So we'll see an example here. Initially the first image here shown here is without the viewport meta tag. Here the content are little invisible and we are not able to like, this is one of the problem of resizing. Whereas when you add that viewport meta tag, so here the content is visible according to the devices. So this is one of the basic thing must be followed for the responsive web page. Next, size content to the viewport. Users are used to scroll websites vertically on both desktop and mobile devices, but not majorly used in the horizontal wise. So once at times, if the users are forced to scroll horizontally, or if they want to zoom out of that particular screen, the whole page, it results in a poor user experience. So in order to overcome that, a grid view, many web pages are based on grid view, which means that the pages is divided into columns. Using a grid view, it is very helpful when designing the web pages. It makes easier to place the elements on the page. A responsive grid view often has 12 columns and has a total width of 100%. It will shrink and expand according to the browser window. That is, it will resize based upon the device browser. Next, building a responsive grid view. Let's start building a responsive grid view. First, ensure that all HTML elements have the box sizing property set to border box. This makes sure that the padding and the border are included in the total width and height of the elements. So, grid container, display grid enables a grid layout. Gap 20 px adds a spacing between the grid items. Grid template columns, repeat auto fit, min max of 200 pixels, one free. Dynamically adjust the number of columns based on the container width, whereas here it will be auto fitting based upon the container width, and each column is at 200 pixels, at least 200 pixels wide, but can grow proportional to fill the available space. So this is how you have to give the grid container. Next is grid item, the styled for aesthetic with padding, background color, text alignment and shadow. Next is your behavior. The grid template column property ensures the responsiveness, where previously we have mentioned here as auto fit. We'll see what is auto fit. Auto fit automatically adjusts the number of columns to fit the available space. Min max of 200 pixels, one free. Ensures that each column is at least 200 pixels wide but can expand to share the remaining space equally. Next, the last is testing the responsiveness. To test, very simple technique, you have to open the page in the browser, resize the browser window to observe how the grid adapts. So this is how you have to test your responsiveness. So far we have seen about the responsive web designing.